I'm going to use just a touch of inspiration to envelop my entire energy field. Inspiring me. So I'm going to ask for each of you to select whatever oils you happen to have with you and apply them, breathing them in, and we'll start with some of my toys, which of course we're going to start first with a couple of the Tibetan bowls. So here we are first. So just breathe in your oils, close your eyes, and just feel these frequencies. Once again, good morning and happy Sunday. And I believe it is almost 11 o'clock. I have more toys in front of me, which I always enjoy having them sitting here. One of which, it just came down from Singapore in the past week, and I'm so excited to have this. This is a beautiful butterfly, crystal butterfly with the iridescent colors. Stephen and I found this in Paris, I believe maybe 2 years ago, was it? And we just both felt that this would embody so much of what we do, and we have been using the butterfly as just a symbol, if you will, of what we do, of how we transform. So I love having it with me. I also have some spheres and some other crystal rocks and tumble stones along with my oils. And I'm going to first apply Northern Lights Black Spruce, and you'll hear why in just a moment. So I'm just intending to remain grounded and in my sacred space throughout, so that I can hopefully inspire. My words will be inspirational to you in some way. Now, the title for today's video, How Can the Rainbow Healing Cards Help You? It came to me because I'm actually writing my story. We started out with a professional writer who is absolutely wonderful writing my story. However, it wasn't really my emotions. As we began reading it, Stephen suggested that I read it to him bit by bit, and we realized that if it's in my words, and it now will be, it will allow us, each of us, to experience them on a very deep level. So that's what, something that I wrote in writing this book was about creating these cards, and how it took so many years to actually manifest the full deck of cards, and why I now understand why it took all that time. Because there was a missing aspect. I was focusing on just the glyphs and the combinations. However, there was a missing element, the element of how to transform and how to use these cards in many different ways. I do not use them all the same way every day. I go through spells and I find that different days I'm interested in different things. Some days it's more about, please, I need a focus for today. I just would like to find something to think about today. It's not deep, not all this big transformation stuff, just something to think about. So today, that's when I draw just one of the glyphs. Now, if you're using the app, just go to your glyphs. Go straight to the glyphs, I'm sorry. I've got mine all up, what I selected today. But go straight to the glyphs and just select one of them, or to select cards, and just select one card. And see what it says, read about it. Use the oils. I selected today the compassion glyph, which is why I'm applying the Northern Lights Black Spruce. You can also apply, if you have it, the Idaho Balsam Fir and the Idaho Blue Spruce, which all anchor this energy. The focus, though, is on what the glyph is all about. What is the name of this fourth glyph? It's compassion, and it is about nurturing of self and nurturing others. Self first. Nurturing of self, just like on an airplane, which we are all forgetting about, since it's been a while since we've been able to fly. Those masks come down if there's a challenge, and they tell you in an emergency, put your mask on first and then assist others. This is alien to what most of us think about normally, because we're taught from a very young age it's better to give than receive, and we feel guilty. So this turquoise color, this compassion glyph, is all about nurturing ourselves and finding that perfect balance of giving and receiving. So that I'm going to carry, I have both a big bottle and a little bottle of the Northern Lights Black Spruce, and I'm going to carry that with me all day long, just to remind myself every time I apply it that to nurture myself. This is not deep thinking. It doesn't have to be meditation. We can meditate on that. That's a great thing to meditate with. But it's about having a focus. Now, as I was writing, as I mentioned, writing this story, I was just to the part of developing the cards, how that it took so long to develop them, and why it took so long to develop them. Because the cards are actually a complete healing system. They can be. They can be used just to have something to think about for a day. They can be used to focus upon who you are, to begin to understand who you are. And actually, that was I feel, the thing that was holding back, because in my initial vision of the cards, I didn't have the archetypes, which is helpful in allowing each of us to understand who we are. And after all, that's what Rainbow Healing System is all about, learning who you are and becoming who you are, taking off those masks, being the authentic being, the magnificent being that you were created to be. So the archetype cards, these are the picture cards, and they're in the app, are all about, they're different types of people, the way we respond to different situations, kind of who we are, what the talents, what the innate abilities of each one is. Now, most of us will see ourselves in each one of them. We'll see parts of ourselves. And that may be why, one reason why we select different cards at different times. My feeling is that most of us were really designed to be one or maybe two, whereas we're so mixed up, we really do not understand who we are. And we are attempting to manifest things, to do things, to utilize the abilities that of others. When we use our own abilities, there is no limit to what we can do because we are incredibly powerful. So that's one way, attempting to understand and weed out those things that are not truly ours, and become who we were created to be. Another thing, and this is what I feel today, because I don't really feel that I am designed to be the performer. You can read all about it. The performer is a very creative and talented individual who has tremendous focus because they have a skill that requires perfection. Unlike the artisan, who also is magnificently creative, but is at their best when they are allowing that creative flow, when they are just allowing it to flow through them rather than working and focusing. It's more about connecting with the source and allowing that creative flow to come through. I personally often get this because this was something that was alien to Frances most of her life. I was a math person, and I thought very much in process and step by step, and creative flow was not something that was comfortable. So I get this at times when that is an important thing for my focus. I'm sorry, I'm going to change the angle of this camera. So today though, I got the focus card. That's what I think of it. The focus. Focus on the little things to make everything come together perfectly. Now, how does that work? I can do this all by itself, just this one, or I can see, why did I happen to select these two cards together? How do they work? Well, sometimes when we get really, really focused, we put blinders on and we don't pay attention to the extra things that are important. The nurturing of self, the nurturing of others. Now, I know that many of us mothers particularly, feel that we don't have time to nurture ourselves, to spend with ourselves. We can all find a few minutes just to breathe in the oils, to think in terms of playing, to just allow us to nurture ourselves on some level. Now, what was the third card that I selected? That they can be, the third one that I got today was the fire element, which is all about raging fire, which what happens? It creates change. How many of us resist change? That has been my pattern, or was my pattern, most of my life. I have now embraced change because we can't stop it many times. Sometimes we have the ability to say, no, I am not going to change what I have been doing. It has worked for me to this point, and I'm going to keep it. Well, that may be the right thing for you at that right time. It also may close down the opportunities for something that's even better. So as we learn to stay in our sacred space, that beautiful space where we are fully connected with the source and pushing out all that chaos of the outer world, as we stay in that place more and more, we can understand better about how these things do work for us. So some days I just want to focus for the day, and that's what I look for. And when I select 1, 2, or 3 cards, it's not a serious thing. It's just let me think about something. For instance, with the focus of the performer, it is to focus on details. However, the potential challenge is that we get so caught up in details that we become rigid. Rigid does not incorporate change. So that may be why I got these 2 cards together. I will meditate on those and determine, why did I? And that's where writing in your journal is going to be so very important. As I'm writing my story right now, I'm feeling like, why didn't I save all of those journals that I wrote? Because I wrote a lot of journals and I saved them for a long time. However, on one of my last clearing outs, they were one of the things that I tossed out. I said, I don't need these any longer. This is looking back. And I'm not choosing to look back right now. I am choosing to live in the present moment. So there is a time to look back. However, when we choose to really remain in the past, we are not living in this moment, and it is this moment that will create our future for us. Would you agree? So there is a time for everything. The important thing is to release our judgment. How many of us judge ourselves harshly? You don't have to put an emoticon up there. Just think about it. We judge ourselves every day, every minute of every day, and we are our greatest critics. However, that is the exact opposite of nurturing ourselves. Each of us is attempting to do the best that we can do in every moment. Would you agree? Not one of us is sitting here thinking, well, I'm not going to even attempt to do anything good today. I'm just going to be and let the day pass, and maybe something will be better tomorrow. Well, maybe that is what you require. The biggest thing is that the message you're getting from the source at this moment? Or is that something coming in from outside your sacred space? So, however you choose to play with the cards on any given day is the perfect thing for you. Not to judge yourself, but just to decide. Now, I have spent the last few days a lot of time in meditation. Many times I'm meditating in the middle of the night because I will wake up in the middle of the night and then I will just start doing my breathing. I always apply oils. The oils that I use in the middle of the night when I get up are, I don't know why I chose this, but yes, I chose them subconsciously, but they're very good ones. I choose always to apply lavender, cedarwood, and jasmine. And interestingly, those three single oils, when are layered, those frequencies form the boundaries hologram. Boundaries, which is something that I have not enjoyed most of my life. I didn't feel like they were a nice thing. However, I now understand that boundaries are more about protection. Protecting us from that chaos in that outer world, from the things that will not move us forward, from the things that are preventing us from moving forward. So boundaries takes on a whole new aspect when we realize that it's protection. So judgment, we don't have a place for judgment, particularly not self-judgment, and who are we to judge others? So as you're playing with the cards in whatever way feels right for you, right this moment, just know that whatever you are doing is right for you. It's perfect for you, as long as you are connected with the source and intending to become more and more of who you were created to be, understanding on a much deeper level all of the guidance that is continuously being sent to you by the source. So I challenge you this week to try different ways of playing and do write down what your thoughts are. Take a few minutes or as long as you choose to write about what you're thinking, and better yet, what you are feeling at that particular moment. No one else ever needs to read it. You don't need to read it again necessarily, although sometimes it's nice to just flip back and see something you wrote at a different time and see what you were thinking and feeling and how that has affected you and in what you're doing right this minute, because every single thought we have, single action we take does create our future. It creates who we are, what we experience, and all of the joy that comes into our lives. So I challenge you this week to just see what comes out as you play with your cards, using your app or the cards or however you are using it. It can be done in a few minutes or a long period of time, but I challenge you to do this every day. Keep track of what you are actually selecting and what your feelings are about that. And have a beautiful week filled with gorgeous rainbows, and I will see you next Sunday.